Shield down by the riverside, down by the riverside, down by the riverside. Okay, here we go. It's a call and response. I'll say, I'm gonna lay down my sword and shield. You say, by the, down by the riverside, down by the riverside. I'm gonna lay down my sword and shield down by the riverside and study war. I'm gonna sing with Ken Dorff down by the riverside, down by, hallelujah, down by the riverside. I'm gonna sing out with Ken Dorff down by the riverside and study war no more. I ain't gonna study war no more. I ain't gonna study war no more. I ain't gonna study war no more. Gonna study war no more. Gonna study. Just two people clapping. Two people clapping. I'm gonna spread it to the Middle East, all for I'm gonna spread it all across the universe, all the more. I'm gonna spread it right across the universe, spread it near and far. I ain't gonna study, oh no, let's go. I'm gonna lay down my sword and shield down by the rivers, down by the riverside. Down by the riverside. I'm praying for peace everywhere. Sending the vibrations into the universe. There ain't gonna be no war, just only love. Father. Golden rainbow fell out of the horizon, and I knew everything was going to be all right. I felt the peaceful rays of the sun in the spring. Hallelujah.
Good morning and welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of the South Fork. We come together each week to honor what is of worth, worship. In this hour, we pause the everyday rush and flow and busyness of our lives in reverence and in thanksgiving to connect with what is sacred, to remember our commitments to each other, ourselves, and the world. Whoever you are, whomever you love, whatever your name for the sacred, wherever you are on your life's journey, you are welcome to bring your full self here. I am the Reverend Kimberly Quinn Johnson. Our musician this morning is Jim Turner. Our tech hosts are Monica Sasada and Carl Wittenberg. If you are joining us online, know that you have access to closed captioning. If that is helpful to you, if you're joining us here in the meeting house, we have hearing-assisted devices that may be helpful to you, and we have learned that they work better on the left side of the room. This is a good time also to silence your devices. We welcome children to stay with us in the sanctuary for quiet play with Kim. Whether you are joining us here in the meeting house or at home or some other place, we invite you to settle in now, free from distractions, into this sacred hour. I have a few announcements. Our Care and Connection team will be meeting tomorrow, Monday, at noon at Panera Bread. If you are interested in joining us This is the group that does so many things to help us stay connected as a community. If you're interested in joining us tomorrow or want to learn more about how you can be involved, please be in touch with Pam Wittenberg. On Thursday, or Carol Mason, who is here, actually present in the room this morning, our Board of Trustees is meeting on Thursday evening at 6:30. That meeting is on Zoom, and if you have questions or want to learn more about that meeting and how to connect, please be in touch with Martha Potter. Next week, Easter. Once again, we will be participating, and by we, I mean me and all of you who show up in the sunrise Easter service at 7 a.m. at Ocean Road Beach. It is always a good time. It's always a little chilly. The sun may have risen, but still, we celebrate this holiday of rebirth and renewal with our Bridgehampton community. Today, there are two things that we hope you'll stay for. The Arts and Aesthetics team is meeting after this worship service here in the Meeting House at noon-ish when we wrap up. And then later this afternoon, we hope you'll come back for a workshop, Transitions and Transformation, an artist tour and collage workshop led by Shinnecock Indian Nation artist Jeremy Dennis. That is multi-generational for families. You don't need to know or do anything. Bring yourself and your willingness to learn and explore today here at 4 p.m. You can find more information about what's happening here and how you can connect in our e-bulletin, which is emailed to you, and the revival of our printed announcements slipped into your order of service. And if you have announcements that you'd like to have shared, please get them to the office by Tuesday of the week that you need them announced. Do we have any visitors who would like to introduce yourselves this morning?
Hi, everybody. My name is Erin. I'm a friend of David and Steve, and thank you for having me. I'm very excited for the service and for the hymns, because I love to sing.
Yay! Welcome, Erin, friend of David, and did you say Tuna or Steven? Either one.
Oh, I said Steve.
Same dude.
That's Tuna, yeah.
We're glad you're here and looking forward to you singing with us.
Oh, thank you. Thank you all.
If you're visiting here in the Meeting House, we hope you will sign our guest book, or if you're visiting online, we hope you will sign our virtual guest book. It's a way for us to tell you more about what's happening here and maybe for us to learn a little bit more about what interests you. I'm going to take a moment now to invite you to greet someone this morning, really briefly, who you haven't yet spoken with, or someone who you already have. If you're joining us online, the chat is a great venue for this.
Good morning. It's kind of dark in my room, but I'm here. Good morning.
Our theme this month has been transformation. This year, our monthly themes come from the proposed changes to our UUA bylaws. That proposal would change the list of 6 sources and 7 principles in our bylaws to the list of values that you see on your order of service. This morning, as we explore rest and resistance, I hope that you will consider what transformation can look like in your personal life and in our community. We begin by lighting our chalice. David will light our chalice, thank you, with these words from the Reverend Carolyn Owen Towle. come into this house of worship. Come in bringing all of who you are. Rest and quiet your weak, worn spirit. For you are here to touch again eternal springs of hope and renewal. Calm your hurried pace. For this hour, let your cares, the fretfulness and worry be set aside. Forgive yourself. You are so very worthy of moving on, of making new efforts, of trying again. Know that you are not alone. There is strength and caring and support for you here. Here you will find comfort if you ask. Look around. Look around. You are part of potential community. You can, we can make it what we will. Enter together into this hour of worship. Our first song to sing together in your gray hymnal and also on your screen. It's an old Shaker folk song, number 16, in your gray hymnal. It is a gift to be simple. Please rise as you feel willing or able.
Tis the gift to be simple, tis the gift to be free, tis the gift to come down where we ought to be. And when we find ourselves in the place just right, 'twill be in the valley of love and delight. When true simplicity is gained, to bow and to bend, we shan't be ashamed. To turn, turn will be our delight, till by turning, turning we come round right. 'Tis the gift to be simple, 'tis the gift to be free, 'tis the gift to come down where we ought to be. And when we find ourselves in the place just right, 'twill be in the valley of love and delight. When true simplicity is gained, to bow and to bend, we shan't be ashamed. To turn, turn will be our delight, till by turning, turning we come round right.
Our first message, you may think that you know this story of the ant and the grasshopper. But have you heard this version? It was a hot summer day, and grasshopper lay lying in the shade, resting from the heat of the sun, when an ant passed by. The ant was dragging a huge seed in order to store it for the winter. Just looking at that ant made the grasshopper feel tired. Ant, why do you work all day long? Why don't you sit here with me for a while? Rest a bit. I am gathering food for the winter, when it is cold and there will be no food. And it would be a good idea for you to do the same, the ant advised. Don't worry, friend. I have planted my seeds in the ground. They will bear fruit in good time. And on it went each morning. The grasshopper would plant some seeds, and after planting her seeds, she would rest. Sometimes she would sing a song while she rested. Sometimes she would explore the forest, finding new seeds to plant the next day. And the ants would scurry around back and forth, to and fro, dragging nuts and dragging their seeds in the heat of the day. Friend, the grasshopper would beg, why don't you rest some? You look tired. Oh no, the ant would reply. There is too much to do and so little time. I must work. And work, work, work they did. Sometimes the grasshopper would help the ant drag a seed or two, and sometimes the grasshopper would sing one of her lovely songs while the ant worked. Always, the grasshopper would invite, friend, why don't you rest a while? Here, I have made a place for you right next to me. But no, the ant would reply, there is too much work and so little time. I must work, 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 no time to waste. And so they did. Work, work, work. And the summer went on, and the ant became more tired and more tired. Their work was slower and slower. It seemed that the harder they worked, the less they got done. The ant made mistakes, forgot things, even became ill. It was clear to anyone who would notice that the ant needed rest, but they refused to listen. Work, work, work they did. Sometimes the poor ant could not even remember why they were working so hard in the first place. But they were determined to push through, believing that rest was a luxury they just could not afford. And as the summer ended and there were no more seeds for grasshopper to plant and no more seeds for the ant to gather, grasshopper was eager to explore this new season. What new things would the forest offer? But the ant was too tired to appreciate those new things, to appreciate the new songs that the grasshopper created. So ants stayed behind, most days, too tired even to appreciate the seeds they had collected. Some days grasshopper would stay with the ant, singing songs and telling stories of all that she had learned. But most days, she would venture out, returning home to rest. Some days grasshopper would not even return home, finding new places to explore and new places to rest. And when the weather began to warm again, grasshopper visited all the places she had planted seeds. She could see new shoots sprouting up. This made her excited. She created even more new songs. Grasshopper tried to get ant to join in these adventures. But poor ant was too tired. And so it was. While the ant was too exhausted from her days of rushing here and there and to and fro, too exhausted to join grasshopper, too tired even to sing and dance with grasshopper at the end of the day. Grasshopper would work and play and explore, planting new seeds, creating new songs, always making time to rest along the way. May your roots grow deep. May your branches spread far. May you find the world to be a wonderful place where you can explore and adventure and also rest, and leave it better for those who follow. We support the work of this congregation through the gift of our time and our talent and our treasure. Your financial contributions help to support the work that we do here within these walls and also the work that we are able to do in our community. You can give here at the meeting house using the basket that I think may circulate in a moment. You can also scan the QR code on your order of service, and if you're joining us online, you can contribute by using the link in your chat.
Words are flowing out like endless rain into a paper cup. They slither while they pass. They slip away across the universe. Pools of sorrow, waves of joy, passing through my open mind, possessing and caressing me. Jai Guru Deva. Nothing's gonna change my world. Nothing's gonna change my world. Nothing's gonna change my world. Nothing's gonna change my Thank you.
I know, right? This week, as we explore rest, I want to invite you into this practice of slowing down. To take a deep breath in and out. And as you exhale, to let go of any tightness in your shoulders or your neck. As you inhale and exhale again, to let go of any tension in your legs, your ankles. Let your body sink into the chair. These words from Richard Gilbert. In the midst of the whirling day, in the hectic rush to be doing, in the frantic pace of life, pause here for a moment. Catch your breath. Relax your body. Loosen your grip on life. Consider that our lives are always unfinished business. Imagine that the picture of our being is never complete. Allow your life to be a work in progress. Do not hurry to mold the masterpiece. Do not rush to finish the picture. Do not be impatient to complete the drawing. From beckoning birth to dawning death, we are in process. And there is always more to do, more to be done. Do not let the incompleteness weigh on your spirit. Do not despair that imperfection marks your everyday. Do not fear that we are still in the making. Let us instead be grateful that the world is still to be created. Let us give thanks that we can be more than we are now. Let us celebrate the power of incompleteness. for life is always unfinished business. This is a time in our service when we share our deep joys, sorrows, concerns for the world. In our hearts, as important to us, even if we don't share. We offer our prayers for travel and seeing the world and making connections to new people in new places. We celebrate the milestones in the life of this community. Offer gratitude for improved health, even as we hold in our hearts those who are still suffering from illness or dis-ease. We light candles not because they are any kind of magic, but because they are a token of the love and care that we ignite and hold in our hearts for each other and for this world. May you carry that love and care with you into this week. There is another song that we will sing together, this time accompanied by our friends from the UU Santa Monica congregation. Oh, well, this is easy. The words are in your teal hymnal, but your teal hymnal is not in front of you. The words will also be on your screen. This way, you will look up. This is 1001 breaths. You may be familiar with this one. Listen more often to things than to beings.
Bum bum ba bum 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 ba bum bum. Listen more often to things than to beings. Listen more often to things than to beings. 'Tis the ancestors' breath when the fire's voice is heard. 'Tis the ancestors' breath in the voice of the waters. Those who have died have never, never left. The dead are not under the earth. They are in the rustling trees. They are in the groaning woods. They are in the crying grass. They are in the moaning rocks. The dead are not under the earth. So listen more often to things than to beings. Listen more often to things than to beings. 'Tis the ancestors' breath when the fire's voice is heard. 'Tis the ancestors' breath in the voice of the waters. Those who have died have never, never left. The dead have a pact with the living. They are in the woman's breast. They are in the wailing child. They are with us in our homes. They are with us in this crowd. The dead have a pact with the living. So listen more often to things than to beings. Listen more often to things than to ancestors' breath. When the fire's voice is heard, 'tis the ancestors' breath in the voice of the waters. Listen more often to things than to beings. Listen more often to things than to beings. 'Tis the ancestors' breath when the fire's voice is heard. 'Tis the ancestors' breath in the voice of the waters.
Yay. One of these days, we're going to have a whole hour of just singing and no hymnals. And it will be glorious, and you will realize that singing is just like breathing in rhythm. So, reclaiming my time. Have you heard this phrase? Do you know this meme? I might remind you. A few years ago, the California Representative Maxine Waters, during a congressional hearing, is questioning Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin. And when Mnuchin begins to stall and deflect in his response to her question, Representative Waters stops him with this phrase, reclaiming my time. Representative Waters reminds the secretary that in this hearing, they are on her time, and that her time is not to be wasted, and that he has to answer her questions. Political allegiances aside, what made this moment powerful for so many people was this historical juxtaposition of this Black woman face to face with the powerful, high-ranking male official, white male official. But Representative Waters is powerful in her own right. She is high-ranking, elected to that office. She is an elder. She owns that space with dignity and authority. How could that not capture our imagination? But more than authority, more than the authority that she carries in that space, it is the words, reclaiming my time, that captured so much imagination. In her book, Rest as Resistance, a manifesto, author and theologian Tricia Hershey describes what it means for Black people, descendants of enslaved people, who could not claim their own bodies, let alone their own time. What it means to claim their time. What it means for people who could not claim their labor today, to claim not only their labor, but their leisure. Reclaiming our time, reclaiming our right to rest is an act of resistance for all of us. The same logic that could dare enslave people, steal their children and their labor, that same logic is the logic that turns people into objects for production. Still today tells all of us that our worth lies in what we are able to produce. For each of us, regardless of your heritage, for each of us to push against a system that wants only to see our productivity, and instead to reclaim our time, not only as a human right, but as a divine right, is our resistance. Rest is as natural to our bodies as breathing. We live in a culture and a society that would have us believe otherwise. You might remember that story of the ant and the grasshopper differently from the story that I told. In the Aesop fable that I grew up with, the ant is industrious, storing away seeds for the winter, and the grasshopper is lazy, singing their time away. And when the summer is over, grasshopper has nothing to show for it. And when the grasshopper goes to the ant, begging for food and warmth, the ant replies, "Well, all summer long, you sang your songs while I worked hard. Now dance." And the ant leaves the grasshopper to starve. What a cruel, cruel story. The moral we are to take away is that work and industriousness are virtues. Rest is not. And if we rest, instead of being hard working and industrious, we will find ourselves out in the cold. We are, that story wants to teach us, to be ants and not grasshoppers. Is it any wonder that we find ourselves in grind culture, hustle culture, to grind, to work hard, to do more, to produce more, competitive, performative, busyness? Like the grasshopper, I am tired just looking at it. I can't tell you how many times just in this past week alone, at the beginning of a meeting, we check in, and person after person, as a manner of checking in, describes how tired they are, how exhausted they are. Why is our collective exhaustion the norm? Why is it even remotely acceptable? And I don't mean to suggest here that if we are tired, we should not say that we are tired. It's not a secret that we should bear. What I mean to suggest is that we should not be so tired. And if I am tired, and if everyone around me is tired, we should not accept that as just the way things are. We should not accept our collective exhaustion as the cost of living in modern society. We should not value productivity over people. What I do want to suggest is that we can learn a lot from the grasshopper. I want to suggest that rest is not laziness, that rest is creative and generative in its own right. And because I grew up in this country with that story, the old story of the ant and the grasshopper, that industriousness is righteous and rest is punishable, I need more than a nice lady at the front of the room telling me that it's okay to take a rest. I need science. So here's some science. Americans of all ages are chronically sleep deprived. According to the CDC, 1/3 of adults in this country say they get less than 7 hours of sleep. Nearly 70%, 70% of high school students don't get enough sleep. And it is having a profound effect on our physical and our mental health. Not getting enough sleep is linked with rises in obesity, type 2 diabetes, heart disease, increased injuries to youth and adults. In youth, it is linked with problems with attention and behavior, increases in depression and anxiety in all of us, creating this loop that makes it difficult to sleep. I am anxious, I don't sleep, I don't sleep, I am anxious, I don't sleep. Rest is not a luxury or an afterthought. It is as natural and as necessary to our bodies as breathing or eating or drinking water. And sleep is only one kind of rest. In her book, Sacred Rest, Dr. Sandra Dalton Smith shares her seven favorite types of rest. So there must be more than 7, but here are the top. Physical rest. Good quality sleep, enough good quality sleep. 7 to 9 hours for adults, even more for children. And inevitably, there is someone who will say, yeah, sure, but I can get by on 5 hours of sleep. I used to be one of those people who said, yeah, sure, but I can get by on 5 hours of sleep. What all of the science tells us is that you are kidding yourself. We are not getting by fine on 5 hours of sleep. Physical rest might also look like lying still and relaxing your muscles. It might feel like engaging in gentle movement, like Tai Chi or yoga or a leisurely walk. Those can be as effective as a nap. This kind of physical rest helps our bodies recover from the demands of daily life. You might try mental rest. Our brains are constantly buzzing about processing information, making decisions, and solving problems. Mental rest is to give your mind a break from this activity. Think mindfulness practices like meditation, taking a short break during your workday, engaging in hobbies that let your mind wander. For some people, this is knitting or crocheting or art or who knows what. What is it for you that allows you to just let your mind wander? Maybe it's coming here on Sunday morning. I don't know. A third kind, creative rest. Creative rest rejuvenates your creativity, engaging with the beauty of the world in nature or art or music. Allow yourself to be inspired. Try this fourth, emotional rest. Allowing yourself to feel and express your emotions in a healthy way. This is about being honest about our feelings, seeking support when we need it, stepping away from emotionally draining situations. Or social rest. Resting not from relationship, but in relationship. If you are an introvert, you might be thinking hanging out with a bunch of people is the last thing that you will find restful. But hear me out. Social rest involves surrounding yourself with positive and supportive people while distancing yourself from those relationships that are draining and stressful. We know that even for introverts, isolation and loneliness has a physical cost, and we cannot underestimate the value of physical touch. Social rest, distancing ourselves from those relationships that are draining and surrounding ourselves by those that are supportive, helps us build those stronger, more fulfilling relationships, improving physical health, mental health. Our sixth favorite kind of rest, sensory. Most of us are surrounded by stimulation all the time. There is music and noise and traffic and screens, electronic devices, all the time. Sensory rest is removing ourselves from, reducing the overload of so much external stimulation in our lives. Turning off our electronic devices, maybe not all day. Embracing quietness, dimming lights, enjoying nature. Sensory rest can help in reducing the strain to our senses, leaving us more focused, refreshed. And finally, spiritual rest. Finding meaning and purpose beyond the daily routine. Spiritual rest. This we do through activities that connect us to something greater than ourselves. Maybe it's what you do here on Sunday morning. Maybe it's what you do at the ocean or in the woods or reading poetry or serving at Maureen's Haven. How do you connect to something greater than yourself? Spiritual rest, spiritual connection reminds us that we don't need to do or produce anything to be worthy. Spiritual rest reminds us that we are sacred and holy in ourselves. That rest is our divine right. May you each claim the rest that you need. May we each honor that rest for others. One final song to sing together this morning. This one is in your gray hymnal, and there's a more than 50% chance that the lyrics will be on the screen, but since I messed up once. In your hymnal, it's number 6, Just as Long as I Have Breath. On our screen, this time we are joined by our friends from the UU Society of Grafton and Upton in Massachusetts. Please rise as you feel willing and able.
Here we go.
yes to truth, yes to life. Our benediction from Sam Trumbore: go forth in simplicity. Find and walk the path that leads to compassion and wisdom, that leads to happiness, peace, and ease. Welcome the stranger and open your heart to a world in need of healing. Be courageous before the forces of hate. Hold and embody a vision of the common good that serves the needs of all people. We extinguish our flame with the unison words in your order of service. We extinguish this flame, but not without truth, the warmth of
Folks, here's a great song by Bob Marley that we've done in many different groups for years. We used to do it every morning at Omega Institute. I'll share how my version goes. I'm gonna go, don't worry. You go, don't worry. I go, about a thing. You go, about a thing. And together we go, every little thing's gonna be all right. Rise up this morning, smile with the rising sun. Three little birds sit by my doorstep, singing old sweet song, melody pure and true. They're singing, this is my message to you. Singing, don't worry about a thing. Yeah, 'cause every little thing gonna be alright. Don't worry about a thing. Oh, every little thing's gonna be alright. Made up a verse. Go out to Montauk, take a ride in fishing boat. Soon many sharks appear on the horizon. We catch a great white shark, throw it back into the water again. Don't you worry, we aren't gonna hurt you. I said don't worry about that thing. Every little thing's gonna be on the... Two people clapping, I'll play a harmonica solo. Somebody say, oh! Somebody say, yeah! And I said, don't worry about a thing. Oh, every little thing is gonna be alright. Yeah, yeah. Don't worry about a thing. Every little thing's gonna be alright. Try and play a solo, I don't know. Whoops. Singing, don't worry about the ting. Every little thing gonna be alright. Don't worry about the ting. Every little thing. I'm afraid it's gonna be alright. I think it's gonna be alright. Yeah, yeah. Thank you. Thank you.